Today you and I are going to build this Power Automate desktop flow. We want to extract data from a web page. Then we want to loop all this data and send the data to the Azure AI Foundry to an API call. Then we want to extract the data back from the Azure AI Foundry in a format that we can use. Let me explain the case first and then we'll start building. So let's say today we are competitors to Anders Jensen org. We want to extract all courses that Anders Jensen org provides, around 8 or 9 here. For each one of these courses we have a URL. We want to go in and then we want to extract the title, 3 benefits, and the introduction here. Why do we want to do that? Well, we are the competitor to Anders Jensen org today, and we want to open up a similar company where we provide courses to leaders. So here we can of course not copy this. We want to optimize this and change the wording. We will use the Azure AI Foundry for this. So that's what we want to do. It's also called Programmatic SEO. Let me navigate back and you can see the URL if you want to do it yourself. Let's go back to the flow. We will divide it into subflows, so we will make sure that we follow the best practices. And let me close this flow because you and I will of course build it together. Then we go to Power Automate Desktop and click New and say Flow. Here we will give it a name. Let's call this one Programmatic SEO Azure AI Foundry. And then we'll hit Create. First, we need to set up the Azure AI Foundry. That is our large language model that will interpret the text and send a result back. So having created the flow, we will open up our browser again and navigate to portal.azure.com and log in if needed. First, we need to go up here and search for AI Foundry. You will find it here, and we will create a resource. So let's go click here. First, you need a subscription, and we will also have a resource group. The resource groups holds all your related resources that shares the same life cycle information, missions and policies. Let's create a new one here. So we want to, for example, say resource group. Then we can say AI demo platform or something like that. That will be the technology. The environment, that will be a demo. And our region will be Western Europe. This is just a name that you choose, but this follows the Azure standard. With that in place, we can give it a name. So I want to call this Programmatic SEO, large language model, demo, Western Europe. Here I will choose my own region. I will choose the West Europe, but feel free to choose your region, of course. A project is a container inside your AI Foundry to group models, set permissions, manage limits, and a lot of other things. So we will not call it first project. Let's call it Programmatic SEO and say demo. Then we will hit next. Here I need to say who should access this. Will it be the entire internet, or should I say only this IP or a range? I will choose all networks for this. Then in the identity here I can say, do I want Azure to automatically create this for me? Then I don't need secrets or password. This is fine. I will also go with a default encryption, but you can choose to use your own. Tags, that is, I want to make this easier to find. Here I can say the environment, demo, and then I can say who owns this. That will be Anders Jensen org. These are just tags, key value pairs for making it easier to find. Then we will hit next. Then I will review and submit in around 10 seconds. Let us create here. you will see that this should take around 1 to 2 minutes. While it deploys this, it will change states. So here you can see it already done that. If it says deployment is in progress, you are on the right track. I will fast forward the video. There we go. Our deployment is complete. Then I can go to the resource. We have it here, and you want to go to the Azure AI Foundry portal. Now I want to say which large language models should I use, and this is what you see at the beginning. I have an API key, an endpoint, and I also have some tutorials down here. If I go to the model catalog, here I can find different models. I can see leaderboards here. For example, if I want to optimize for quality, then I should pick O3 Pro. And if I want to save on cost, I should take the Mistral. Down here is the complete model catalog, and here you can see I can use DeepSeek, Mistral, Cohere, Meta, and of course the OpenAI models. First, let's just search for GPT 4.0. That will be the default one. Could of course also have browsed it. If I click that here, then I can create a deployment. But let's first inspect how much this costs. Over here, you can see quality index. How good is this? We can also see that this costs $4 approximately for 1 million tokens, where 1 million tokens is 750,000 words. So that is a lot. I can fine tune it. That is, I can teach the model with my own examples to make it even better. I'll just say use this model for now. Here, the deployment name will be GPT 4.0. Fine. I can choose what I want in the deployment type. For example, the global standard, here I have fast access. The data will leave my region for processing. It will still stay in Azure when it's at rest. Then I have the data zone standard. Here we will process it inside our region. The standard is similar to the global standard, but here we stays in our Azure region. Let's just, for simplicity, pick global standard. You can choose to customize it down here. Here I can set up a rate limit if I want that. I don't want it, or configure a content filter. Let's just hit deploy. Now we have deployed the model. We can start using it. Before we do that, let's see how it reacts. So if I go to open in Playground, you will see the deployment here. We can give the model a system instruction here. I can do that by using Copilot to do it, or simply just with my manual words type in here. Right now you are an AI assistant that helps people find information. Let's say I want to change this to respond like an experienced customer agent in a tech company, like this. So this is how it should behave. I can choose to apply, do this. Now the system message is updated. Then I can test it over here. So here I can say, hello, I need to speak to the manager, urgent, my data is gone, and 7 exclamation marks. So here we have an experienced customer agent answering that. We can also see that we can add our own data. Here I can choose to add my data as a rack. We will not do it here, but it could be beneficial. Then we can choose to configure parameters. How many past messages should we include? What should the max response be in tokens? How creative should the model be? And should we make the model stop? And a lot of other things. Probably fine. We can deploy other models. That makes it easier to switch between these models. For example, let us go to the model catalog. And let me go to the models. Back here. I can go down here, and if I go into the collections, I can choose to find, let's say I want the DeepSeek models. Let's go with this V3. So that's nice. I can use different models. It is half price and the quality is roughly the same as GPT-4o. Here I should notice that it only supports English and ZH. I'm not even sure what that is, probably Chinese. I will use this model. Let's just give it the standard name. It's deployed. Now it should solve our task. Let's open it. Playground. Here I want a system prompt. Do something like this. Let me just copy paste. You're a skilled copywriter with a background in IT and enterprise training. You rewrite course content to make it more relevant to business leaders and decision makers while keeping essential technical terms intact. Your tone is clear, professional, and persuasive. Click apply changes. That was actually for the GPT-4o. Let me just copy it here. I hope you enjoyed this live coding. Please give the video a thumbs up if you learn from it. That will really help me. Anyway, we have it here. And over here, let me just clear the chat so we can test it. Now what I want is to send, that was the information from all these courses. I want to send it here and then I want to have it rewritten. I also want to say I want it in a format that I can use over in Power Automate Desktop. So I want it in a structured format. Let me just see what I have here. So the prompt I will send makes something like this. We can go through it. Rewrite the following course content so it appeals specifically to business leaders or decision makers. Use clear professional English B2 level. Do not oversimplify technical language. Preserve important IT terms that convey value. Since we already have the system prompt up here, we might not need all of this because we already said how we should write. So we can just probably say rewrite the following course content. Craft a compelling title that resonates with leadership goals. Focus on clarity, impact, and relevant to business outcomes. Choose wording that feels fresh and directly tied to executive priorities. Then I can also see return only a valid JSON object with the following fields. Title, course title, rewritten for leaders. Intro text, that is what I need. Short introductory paragraph tailored for a leadership audience. And meta description and SEO, meta description, and a call to action as well. Then I want to fill it in with the course title, benefits, and introduction. This is variables, so these should change from course to course. So this is the prompt I need to send through. We can talk a little bit about that. We can also probably clear. Also clear this. So now it's just, we have the system instruction and then we have the prompt here. We could test it like we did before if we wanted that, but with the custom agent, let's implement this in Microsoft Power Automate Desktop. We will do it step by step, and let me just take this updated prompt, open up Notepad. So here we have the prompt. I have that here, quite simple, and maybe we should also save the system prompt. If you can do this. So this is how should this agent behave. We have both of these. Then I need some information because we need our Power Automate Desktop flow to connect to this deployment that will be the DeepSeek. So I can go up here to view code. Here we can see a lot of information around what is needed. If I go to key authentication, I can also find the API key. Let's go to Power Automate Desktop. Let's first create everything here in the main, and then we will of course split it into subflows. So here I have a set variable. Let's start by having this one called endpoint. The endpoint is how we want to connect to the model. We need some sort of an address. If you go back here and into the key authentication, let's change this to curl. What you need is this URL up here, Control C. So here we have, with the API version, you need that URL. Let's go back to Power Automate Desktop. That was the endpoint. Let's also create a variable, the API key, like this. And here we should probably store this API key a little bit better than in a variable. But for this simple example where I actually delete everything afterwards, this is just fine. Then to make the call to the Azure AI Foundry, then I find an Invoke web service. This is how you do HTTP request here in Microsoft Power Automate Desktop. The URL, that is the endpoint. So I go up here and choose the endpoint. The method is post. I want to send some information to the model. Then the accept, in what format will I accept messages and in what format will I send? Change these XMLs to JSONs. Then we have custom headers. Let's go back to the documentation. Here you will see that API key, your API key, that is one header. So I go back to here, do like this, and change this API key to our variable. Then I also want to have a body, that is the information that we sent to the model. Here you need to grab all of this. Let's talk Control C. Let's talk about what we actually sent. So here we say we have a system role here. You are a helpful assistant. Yes, we will change that. What are 3 things to visit in Seattle? Then we also say maxed 1,000 tokens. That's 750 words approximately, and we have the model here. One thing that you will change is to go to advanced. Let's give it, can sometimes take a little bit longer than 30 seconds. We don't want Power Automate Desktop to timeout. Then we will not encode it in base 64, so I'll untick this and hit save. Let's also change the run delay to 1. Let's save our flow so we have it if something goes down. This is the base. So now, of course, we get Seattle travel tips. What I want to see now is that it, of course, not fails. Over here to the right, I want to see a status code of 200. This means that this API call was successful. Then if I go into the web service response, we will see we have no hate or something else. But our information is in the message, in the content. Seattle is a vibrant city with plenty to see and do. This is how you actually is able to make the connection between the Azure AI Foundry, one of the deployed models, and Power Automate Desktop. Now we will build the entire flow. And again, let's talk about what we actually want. I want to go to a web page that will be this web page here, and then I will iterate through these. So I want to take the title out, the benefits, the title was here, the benefit was here, and the introduction was down here. Let's also structure our flow a little bit better. So we go back here. I will make an initialization. So I go up into subflows and initialization. Here, everything in the beginning where we launch everything will go in. So let's grab these 2 guys here. I will Control X, paste it into initialization. Yes, then I need to run the subflow because a Power Automate Desktop flow always start in main. So here I will have a run subflow, drag it in the main in the beginning. So this will just initialize my variables, open up programs and stuff. So this will be the same as before. Now it will just run this, go back to main and do the API call. Let's also, in the initialization, let's talk a little bit about what we want here. We also want to, in the end, I also want to have the beginning. I also want to have a data table where I store all the information. I probably also want to open up my edge. Because we are not we're not wanting Seattle traveling tips. Let's create 3 variables. Where do I want this? I would just set them here in the beginning, but we might want to change these. So here I want a title. Let's just see that it works with this title, for example. So I go back here and do like this. Then I want a variable. That could be the benefits. 3 benefits. Let's just copy all of this. We'll need to have this rewritten. And then I also want the introduction. Of course, in the real world, I will have taken more data if I wanted to copy this page here and do programmatic SEO on it. So that's fine. We have it here. Then I also want to say, right, if I go in here, here is my prompt. What are 3 things to visit in Seattle? Let's create a variable for that prompt as well. So I add in another set variable, and here I will call this prompt. So what I want to do here is to go back to the chat playground. And then, oh, actually, I have it here. We take this prompt, course title, benefits, and introduction. Let's make sure that it fits. Course title, we just call it title. Change this. Benefits is good, and introduction is good as well. Now we have our prompt. So in a prompt, in a JSON, for it to be valid, that is the data that we send to the Azure AI Foundry. Here I cannot use double quotation marks. I'm not sure I have any here, but if I have, I need to convert them to single quotation marks. Otherwise, we will get a fail. Here I will use a replace text and drag it in here. I will look at the prompt. Oh, I will go up and find the prompt. What do I need to find? Well, I will have a double quotation mark and replace it with a single and save it back to the prompt. So we just do this. Then I also want to say, how should my API body JSON look like? Currently, the body, that is this one here. So let me Control C. Let's also make a variable for this. Have a set variable. Let's start creating this API body JSON. I create these variables, then it will be much easier changing this. So we have it here. As you can see, we have the entire API body JSON, but I want to, since the content here, that is actually our prompt, we want that to go in here instead of this Seattle. Then I change this for the variable. Keep in mind that we could have spaces in the actual prompt. So, and we will get an error if we don't encounter for that. So let's move the spaces from this prompt here, or actually the entire API body JSON, because we will also update the system prompt in 2 seconds. So what you want to do now is to find a replace text. I hope you will learn a lot, and please just bump me with questions and likes, of course, to the video, then we can make a lot more. I want to look at the API body JSON. What do I need to find? Here I will use regular expressions. I will say, if you find any line breaks, I have created an entire regular expression video, then you should replace them with nothing, so that will be 2 percentage signs and 2 single quotation marks. Right. Let's save that back to API body JSON. Then finally, we can replace all of this. The request body, we can replace that with the API body JSON. Now we can test it again. Yes, it will be static because we are not web scraping here, so we will just use these 3. But if I click run, I want to see that the flow runs without an error. And if I go over here, I want to see a status code too. Then we can inspect it. If I go here, if I go into the actual JSON response, AI-powered meeting efficiency, that is the title, Copilot teams and Word for leaders. We have an intro text. We also have the meta description. So it works. Yes, you could say that we could have prompted better. We will probably also do that. But keep in mind that actually here it is a JSON, but it is in markdown. So I also need to filter this. The JSON actually starts here, but it always returns this markdown. So we need to encounter for that. And it's also, I also need to, in the end, I need to take this away here. Then it will work. So now I just need to, once it comes back here, then I can say, how do I want to interpret this web service response here? Well, let's first parse it, and then we can talk a little bit about that. So the original text, that is the web service response, and if I use a crop text, easy, then I can say, look in the web service response here. I want to get the text between the 2 specified flags. And then I can use these 2 markdowns. And since I didn't copy it, just go back here. And maybe we should copy that to our notebook so we have those. So I want to say, look after this flag here. And before there. Then we have the JSON here, like this. Then I can open up the action again. So the end flag, that was this. Start flag was this. And this is the web service response. Then I will just say, call this results. I also get some backslashes and some backslash n in these here. Let me just show you. I can choose to remove those. I have them here. Let's remove those. So what I can do here is to say replace text. So the text to pass, that will be the results. What do I need to find? That was the backslash n. What will I replace it with? Nothing, like this. So these are 2 single quotation marks. Let's save that back to results. I should probably also do the same with backslashes. So I can say Control C, Control V. Back here and do like this. Now I have everything away. Then I can take my JSON, that will now be the results. I can take that and convert it to a custom object that will make it easier to work with. I do that finding a convert JSON to custom object. A JSON is just a way of sending data, and that will be my results here. And maybe I can do this result as custom object. Now I want to see that I get no errors and that I have what I want out saved in a JSON. So that was the result as custom object. If I go over here, I now have a nice dictionary, title, intro text, meta description, call to action. These are all coming from Azure AI Foundry. Yes, elevate your leadership today and this M-dash. Probably not the best prompt that we used. This is not about creating a good prompt. I have many other videos about that. This is just to see how we can leverage the Azure AI Foundry. With that in case, let's also have the system prompt. We will have that up here, and it's our system prompt. Then we might get better results. Find a set variable. We will have it just before the prompt. Paste it in here, and then we will also use it. Now it's easy because we have it here. I just need to change you are a helpful AI assistant. Change that with the system prompt here. Now it changed. I'm not sure it changes the results too much. We probably need to work much more. So if I go into this, maybe it was actually better. We have no M dashes and it doesn't sound that AI-ish. Now we can start building the flow. So we need to structure this better because right now it's a mess, and we also need to extract the data. So we need to make this dynamic. Now it's fairly static. We just had this tree here. So we have this initialization. So here I am using the endpoint and the API key. I also want to open up a browser here, and I want to open up a browser and navigate to this page. This is the data that I want to extract. So let's find a launch new Microsoft Edge here. Control V, paste it in. This will open up the browser. Here I can choose to have the state normal or maximized. Normal should be fine. Then I also want to say, after I run this initialization, then I can start extracting the data that I want. And I do that by, can easily web scrape here in Programmatic Desktop. I find the extract data from web page, have it up here. So I use a browser instance, and now I need to open up my data here. Here I can see it's only an anchor. I cannot get in. I only need the URL. If I right click on the first element, then I can actually see that there's an href attribute. We have the first element. Pick the second element, right click, do that, and now we have all 9 URLs extracted exactly like we wanted. And here we can see that it gets saved into data from web page. Let's call this one live courses. So what I want to do here is that I can set a breakpoint here. This will pause the workflow. So now I can test it. It will only run the run subflow and the extract data. I just want to see that it actually can open and it can extract the data. We get no errors. And if I close this down, then you can see here it's paused. I can stop it. Let's inspect the live courses. Here we have it. We have all the URLs, the 9 URLs. We can start looping those. So what I want here is to have a new subflow. I want to have a subflow called extract data. What do I want here? That will be the individual site. So for each one of the URLs, I want to go in here and extract all of this. And I want to do it over and over. Let's build a new subflow. I'll call this one extract data. So what do I want in here? Well, I need to make sure I navigate to the correct page before I extract data. I just extracted that here in the live course, in the results, or in the first column. So what I can do here is to say go to web page. Yeah. and drag it in. Where do I want to go? I want to go into the live courses, whatever's in the live courses 0. Actually, I need a for each, so let's build that first. We will just do this. I hope you enjoyed a lot, because after I extract this, then I want to loop this extract data. So here I will have a for each, drag in the for each here. Let's have the live courses, and I will call this the current course. Yeah, and then I will run this subflow. I'll do that over and over for each course in the live courses. Then I can go back here, because now I can say, go into the current course in the first column, like this. So this will simply just, what is happening here is that we run the initialization, initialize these variables, we are not using them yet, opening up this edge, then we go back to the main, extract some data, some URLs, have it here, then loop each one of them and navigate to that URL over and over and over. Then we also want to say, having opened the first one, I need to extract some data, is all of this, so we can send it to the Azure AI Foundry. I find another extract data from web page, and here, open my web page again. I will first extract the title. Here. I will also extract these benefits here. And let's see if I can get the introduction here. So now I take all of this from each side. Let's save those to course details like this. Then I can go back. Now I want to test that I close the Azure AI Playground. I hope we don't need it. We don't. Then let's just see that we can actually move between each one of these 9s here. That was the first one. We extract some data. That is the next one. I extract the data. So this seems to be working. We're not using the data yet, but we're actually going through the web pages and we are extracting this data. Let's just go through all of it and just see it works. It's always satisfying to see that your workflow works. That's it. And if I go back here, stop. We had no arrows. Let's move the. Let's maybe have it. So what we have here will be that we extract the data to course details. This is just for the last one. Now I have the ChatGPT Advanced course. That will be the title. I have the benefits and I have the introduction. Now I need to say, I need to have a data table to gather all this in. So for each iteration, I want to add data to that data table. Let's create one in initialization. I will have a set variable. Have it in, I think, in the third place. This will be the course details all. To create a data table through an expression, you will have 2 percentage signs, a curly bracket start and a curly bracket end. Because it's a header, you will have a head and you will have square brackets. And then I want to create a data table where the headers are title, benefits. It is in single quotation marks because these are text. Introduction. Click save. If you get a syntax error, then you haven't written this like me. Then I also want to say in the extract data, then I will say what you got here, put that on the course details all. I will use a loop for this. So here I'll find a loop. So here I will say start from, since data tables are 0 indexed, it's easier to have in index 2. And then I will say, take as many rows as we have in course details. So here I will have a rows count, -1 again, because it's 0 indexed, with increments of 1. We have a loop index, which we will use. Because now in here, I will have a set variable. I want to say, have the course details all. What should be in that? Well, that should be the course details all. Then inside here, I'll say plus, and then I will add the course details. Delete these two guys here. We will only have percentage signs in the start and in the end at the code block. And then I will have a hard bracket, and then I will say loop index, like this. Then I can hit save. So now, after I have extracted it here, I will add it to the course details all. Let's save it again, and then we can try to save that. So that's the first part. If we succeed in that, also go to the main and make sure I have it here. If we succeeded that, we have all the data that we're going to use. We can then send it to the Azure AI Foundry. At least we get no errors. That's a nice thing. I want to have 9 rows in this course details all. Then we can start to iterate that, and we can send in all the data. Let's see it works. Oh. That was finished. And if I go back here and click stop, then I want to see that in the course details all, I have it here. So this is that is the title, the benefits of each one. And I can actually see I have 3 rows. And I also have the introduction. Now I can say, once I get here, then I can start to perform this for each one of the actual rows. So since we have all of this, and let's mark it, Control X, let's structure it a little bit better. I go to subflow and call this one AI Foundry, like this, Control V. So I want to run this for as many rows as I have here in the course details all. Let's have another for each. Yeah, we have this for each. I want to iterate the course details all, and let's call this the current course detail. For this, I want to run the AI Foundry. So I say run subflow and drag it in here, which will be the AI Foundry, like this. Then I also need to say, well, now it will not be static, because I have here in the current course details, I have each one of these rows, the title, the benefits, and the introduction. So if I go in here, and the title is not static anymore, it's not hard-coded in, I can go into the current course detail. Yes, I see the spelling. I see the spelling mistake, but we can fix that easily. Speaking of, like this, and because I'm lazy, let's just Control-C, save this, paste it in here, and let's just benefits, like this, and the introduction here. All this introduction, like this. Then what was it? That was the current course details. That was this one here. Right click, rename, have a T, and it's updated everywhere. Now this should work for all of this, because all of this are just dynamic. So let us just try to run, see that we have no errors in at least like the first. We will extract all the data. Then I want to see I can at least loop like the first and second item before we continue. And again, please support this channel by giving it a thumbs up. That will make me able to create more videos. I really want to make a living just to be a full-time YouTuber. We're not there yet. So here, I think we are soon. We know that this works, so it's not that exciting. Now it goes into this subflow. We can see it makes API calls. We're not working in the UI anymore. We don't get any errors. That's great. So now it sends all of this text to the Azure AI Foundry, and then we get a result back, which we saved in the custom object. That's it. Let's see that we can actually get something out. So let's talk about where did we save it. We saved that in the result as custom object. Of course, we only have the last one, but if I found it here, that is for the last one. So it works. We have created a dynamic flow. Now we just need to finalize it, because I want to save all of this in a data table so I can again use it. Maybe I want to create another API call that post this to my blog. Right now we will just save it to Excel. So up here I have a set variable more, and I will call this generated text like this. And let's talk, maybe I just want to, because I'm again lazy, just copy the expression from up here, and then we don't have to create it again. I want to save the title, the meta description, the call to action. So title, meta description, call to action. Let's just see what we have. We also have an intro text, so we could add that as well. Over here, intro texts like this. So now we can save it to this this data table. So each time we get a result down here, then we will save it. How do we do that? Well, just as we did before. Just have a set variable. Then I want to call this generate texts. What do I want in that? I want whatever's in it, and then I want to say I want to create a data row. So a data row looks like this: curly bracket, hard bracket end, curly bracket, and then I will have 4 items in here. Now I'll look up in the result as custom object. It's here. Let's remove these two. The first guy, that was the title, the renewed title, like this. And then I want a comma. I need 4 of these, so because I'm lazy again. Then I just need to change title. Then let's just see what we actually have here. So I'm sure that we have a title. What do I need from the here? I want a title, intro text, meta description, and call to action. So we go back here. So what do I want here? We have the result as custom object, then we have title, then we have the intro text, here we have the meta description and the call to action. Here, and the call to action. Then we actually also get a syntax error. Let's see what was wrong here. Sometimes you can see it here. It's action name in the set variable. Error message, syntax error. And let us just open it here. So what I want to see here is that I have the entire one here. I'm saying plus the result as custom object, and the title, the text. Let's see what is wrong here. Let me pause the video and then I will get back. It's sometimes easier just to brainstorm. I'll of course explain what is wrong, probably just a comma that I cannot see now. And let me come back. Of course, I have a square bracket here, here, and here. And I was completely blind on this, so when I just sat there, I couldn't really see it. Maybe that's completely normal. Don't be ashamed. You can see I make these things as well, and you can actually also go to ChatGPT to debug these. Anyways, it works now. Now we get everything saved to the generated text. Let's say I also want to save all of this. Then I could have an end subflow. Let's save that to Excel, and let's make sure we run it. Last part here, where we run the subflow, and over here I want to save it back to Excel. Yes, we could complete it with sending new API calls to a system or having UI automation through Power Automate Desktop. So here I will have launch Excel. I want to launch it with a blank document. Creates an Excel instance. Save. Then I want to say write to Excel worksheet. What do I want to write? I want to write a generated text here. So here you will see, where do I need to write it? I write it in column A, and then I want it to be in row 1. Then Power Automate Desktop will automatically put it in a table, or at least in the different cells. Then I also need to save this, so I'll have a close Excel. Let's save the document. Where do I want to save it? We just click save here. Let's go to our desktop. Let's create a folder. Let's call this one project. I want to save it in here. So what I can do again is right click, copy as path, go back to here, and that's initialization. Because this will probably move, so I prefer to create a variable for this. This will be project path. I don't want it. It's okay when I develop, but when I move it into production, I probably want to place it somewhere else. I have it here, remove the quotation marks. Then I can use it here. Say project path. And then I also need to say, what do I want to call it? I want to call this one generated text.xlsx. Save. We should probably also close the web browser. So I will have close web browser here. Let's close all of this and let's try to run it with the end as well and see that we can save all data. If we are not getting this to work, then it's also okay. We just need to know how to debug. You will create a lot of errors when you develop, especially in the beginning, but you can also see an experienced API developer like me. I also create errors. Important part is just to be able to fix them. So now extract all this data. And then we are starting to loop all the data here. And we want to see that it gets saved into Excel. So now it keeps doing this. We can also see that the status code is 200. This is good. in the real world, you probably also want to do some sort of a check. If the status code is not 200, meaning it's a success, then you want to handle that. Now it's saved. Close the web browser. Nice. We can inspect the result here. Generate the text. Here we have it. And if I do like this, have different columns. Now we are ready to process them. Your next advanced Power Automate desktop video is here. This will teach you everything about best practices in Microsoft Power Automate desktop.